Hey guys, it's me, Crystal. If you're new here on this channel, we talk about fashion, family, and fun. And normally I would say we talk about how I'm building Kafil into a billion dollar business, but that's no longer true for me in this moment of my life. I've been in a very challenging space for the past 4 years, and to give you guys the real of my business isn't making any money. It's actually been draining money for the past 4 years. I have been trying to make something work in my own will that I don't believe God is fully in it. I think he's there, the idea is there, and he wants it to come to pass, but I am trying to control it too much. So I want you guys to follow me on how I am de-stressing my life, getting further into God's will, and being a partner to myself, to my child, and to my boyfriend, and how I am truly stepping into my power by taking a step back. So I founded the brand in 2019, and initially it was just for me to make clothing for myself. That was it. I then decided to make a sweatpant and a pair of leggings and a dress because I wanted clothes to wear. I founded it at the time because I had just exited my business relationship with my sister. We had a brand called Marie and Annette, and a part of me wanted to shine beyond just being a sister duo, and I wanted to carve my own lane out. That's me being honest and transparent, and I was tired of feeling controlled by other people. At the time, I had just had my daughter, who is now going to be 6, and I had just exited the relationship with her father because, once again, I didn't want to feel as if I was being controlled or led in a direction that I didn't feel like I wanted to go. So I made this decision on my own that I was done with my job. I was done with working, and I was solely going to put my energy into building out the brand. And I don't think I made that decision with God. I knew it was time for me to move on to something, but I think I jumped the gun in terms of how big and elaborate, and I made my business the God over my life versus making God the center of everything. I started the business with those 3 pieces, and then I started blogging, and that was fine. And then I had a woman reach out to me who, now that I look back, didn't have the best intent. I think there were some good intentions, but she wanted to use me as some sort of pawn, maybe, in her grand scheme of things to get closer to someone. And she said that she will connect me with her friend to help my business come to pass. I said sure. I was so excited and eager, and I didn't stop to take a moment to pray on it. I then decided to meet up with her friend, and her friend said, yes, I'll help you. And this whole time I didn't have a second to pray. Yes, Avery?
This is what I want.
What is that? $821 of stuff? We're gonna go to the mall later, and you can pick out one thing, okay? From that store, you can pick out one thing, okay? Sorry, my daughter came and spoke to me. So I met with this woman, and she said she was gonna help me, but I realized that although she was helping me, she was also just watching me to see how far I would get. And I took that very personally because I naively just trust most people. But I also didn't pray about that. So I've been trying to will this brand into existence, draining my capital, draining my sanity, and draining my personal energy. And then, so I also want to backtrack and just say that during that time, I had lost my job when I was working at Macy's. I got laid off right before COVID hit. And thankfully, I had a severance worth 2 years of my personal expenses. And when that ran out, I was scrambling. I was trying to force things and do all the things that, once again, I didn't pray on. I continued the relationship with the woman to help mentor me and train me. And it always felt like something was off. I think I was so reliant on her and not reliant on God Okay, so like I was saying, I was able to get 2 years worth of expenses out of that. I was still working with this woman to help me. As I mentioned, I felt like she was watching me. I would go down to her office, she would give me some advice, she would tell me things to do, I would execute, and I felt like I was just trying to prove to her that I was worthy of this business. And I think I've done that with multiple mentors and things in my life, just trying to prove my worth versus standing and knowing that God has already made me worthy for this dream. And during that time, so I met my boyfriend in 2020 in January. A month into us dating, I got laid off, but like I said, I had 2 years of expenses. So we were building out our relationship, going through the normal ups and downs. And then I got laid off, and then my unemployment finished, and the money that I had saved up finished in September of 2022. September 2021. And I was like frantic, and I was putting so much pressure on him to kind of bring my dream to pass and not taking accountability and ownership of where I was in my life. So fast forward, I got a job in January 2022. I was working at Run the Runway. I don't think that job was a fit, but I also wasn't grateful for it. I was at the job begrudgingly and upset that I wasn't able to work on my own brand. I had decided to pause the brand, put it down, and then something in me said again to pick it back up. And I picked it back up in the same way I was doing it before, then also feeling like, oh, I don't know why I'm here, why I'm at this place. And I don't feel like I got to learn all the things I could have learned that I could have applied to my business because I was so ego driven and so in my own way. So since then, I have not worked full time. I was lucky enough to have my aunt ask me to help her with some of her schoolwork, and she'll pay me. Then I expand into some recruiting work for her, and then I got this consulting job that I'm currently doing, which is ending next week. And then I'm constantly feeling like I'm pushing against this thing, and that there's no ease in this process. I'm always fighting myself and fighting the people around me who are here to aid me, but not to bring everything to pass. And this business is literally sucking the life out of me. I am hemorrhaging money that I don't have. My credit is shot. I've put my life on hold for it. And I'm at a place where I can no longer do that. And it is so hard for me to let go. I've come to this space so many times, and I've talked to so many people about letting it go. And they're like, no, keep going. I see what you're doing. I see what's happening also, but I also know how it feels. And I know that when God is in something, it may be challenging, but it doesn't feel like I constantly have to struggle and put it down. There's no underlying sense of peace. I've gotten to a place where I've become very complacent with not living up to my full potential in terms of providing for myself, providing for my daughter, and the lifestyle I want. I've become dependent on others to do that versus me standing in my power. And one of my brand slogans is standing in your power and take up space. And I have been manipulative in a way and gaslighting in a way to my partner and not even realizing it. I do nothing with ill or malicious intent, but I think the devil has a way of showing you this bright, shiny thing and yourself, this bright, shiny thing, and telling you have to put everything after, because if you don't, it's not going to happen. And I know what God put in my heart, and I know what talent I have. I think I need to have a firmer foundation in my faith, in my finances, in my life, and I can't skip steps. I've been trying to build out this big elaborate brand versus taking it one step at a time, and that's been holding me back. I'm producing collections I can't produce inventory on. I've been putting so much pressure on this thing to make it work, and I've made it the God in my life. And I'm at a space in my life where I need to take a step back and figure out who I am now as in this phase, how I'm building up my family, because that is a priority for me, how I'm being a supportive partner, and how am I not abandoning myself and doing the things that I love and taking care of myself and my daughter, and how I can show up in this world knowing my worth and not second guessing it and not having to prove to people who don't mean much in the grand scheme of things, and how I can continue to spread the message of if God's not in it, it's not going to work. I have a decent faith. I don't think I have a super strong faith because I worry so much and I'm anxious about things. And I think I have to will things into existence all the time. And that's not a faith-based thing. That is a ego-based thing. And my past trauma has shown me time and time again that people, including God, don't take care of me. And that's not true. I have people that are around me that are supporting me, but also ultimately it's up to me to take care of me and allow God to take care of me as well. And I can't keep on, one, pushing people away, two, pushing myself away, because by abandoning myself for this business, I am pushing myself away and expecting to live a fulfilled life. I want to be fulfilled and happy, and I am happy in my life. There are things I would love to change, meaning my business, the practices, the effort and energy and mental space I'm putting into it. And I just want to feel lighter and happier. So if you're anything like me and you're trying to bring things into existence and you want to release all the fluff, normally I'll tell a joke and force it, and I'm just going to sit here and be me. I have to release this thing that has been in me since I was a kid, and I love it and I want it to work. But I gotta let it go for it to work. I had a dream last night that my daughter had a tree growing out of her foot. And she said to me, "Mommy, it's hurting." So I went, I saw like a little splinter, squeezed it, and this tree just kept on growing and growing and growing. And as I reached to get the nail clipper to cut it off, it disappeared. It sucked back up into her foot. And then I went searching for it again, and I squeezed it, and it was a whole valley and a whole land. And I take that as I'm trying to squeeze and will this one little aspect of my life into existence, where if I go searching for God, he'll give me abundance and he'll give me green pastures and more than I could ever imagine. So I have to release, because I'm always going to keep on squeezing, and it's going to give me a shiny bright thing and then it's going to suck back up, versus move when he says to move, put pressure where he says to put pressure, and let him do the rest. And I was so confused in the dream, but I'm starting to understand more. I need to take a step back. So I thank you guys for tuning in. I will be on here as much as I can, weekly, bi-weekly, just updating you on the progress of me searching for jobs and what I'm doing to fulfill that thing in me and to get back into myself, into my body, and having my family time. And also I love getting dressed. I haven't been able to get dressed and find my personal style in so many years, and I would love to share that with you guys. So if you are okay and you want to continue to follow me on this journey, follow me as I build my life into a life of God's will and protection, and in turn bring the dreams that he put onto my heart to pass. Thanks guys, hope you tune in again. Bye.